Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Cole's Author Talks. My name is Summer and I'm a CER at Cole's Pen Center. Today I had the chance to talk with Sara Waard, author of the YA novel White Lies. Here's how it went. And if you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe and check out our Instagram page. Thank you for joining me today, Sara. For my first question, I'm just going to ask you to tell me about yourself.
I'm Sara Waard, and I'm a teacher and a mom, and just recently a writer. Actually, I've been writing screenplays for a long time, so I just decided to try my first hand at novel writing, and it was picked up by DCB Cormorant in Toronto. So I guess I spend my time between being a mom with kids in high-level sports and also teaching half-time and writing, and that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Can you tell us a little bit about your book, White Lies?
Sure. White Lies, it was kind of born out of me observing teens as I started to teach intermediate and noticing that I felt a lot of them could really work on their self-love and compassion for themselves. And with my history in my own mental health journey, I decided to create a character named Missy, who's 15 years old. And because of past trauma in her life, she's going through her own mental health journey and also trying to survive high school. And to add fuel to the fire, I guess, she encounters her first crush. And that just triggers all kinds of emotions and feelings on whether she can trust or not trust and what it's like to love somebody. And it's pretty much a coming of age story about Missy.
And what are some challenges you might have faced when you were writing this novel?
Well, as a mom and as a human, time was a major culprit because I found it hard to find the time to sit and write. I love writing and I don't really believe in writer's block. I just sincerely didn't have the time sometimes. So that was a major stumbling block. And also the essence of Missy is pretty close to, I guess, not autobiographical because we've been through different experiences, but her essence is a lot like the teenager me. So working through that was a bit of a challenge too, but I'd say a healthy challenge.
What else inspired you to just kind of bring this story to fruition?
Well, I think because I know a lot of people who, I've had so many people tell me lately, I don't really read and I love your book. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard that in the past month. And I'm noticing more and more that people really need the kind of stories that are quick, light read, full of character and depth and emotion to remind them why reading is such a wonderful thing. Because every one of them have said to me that they never found time to read or they weren't really much of a reader, but they absolutely loved the experience of sitting down with a book. And as much as I'd love to attribute all of that to my writing, I'm sure that it's the act of reading that they really fell in love with. And so I was kind of inspired by that too. And I'm very inspired by that while I'm working on my second novel. So.
Ooh, what are you working on?
It's actually a real departure from this. It's a dystopian novel, young adult, still with a male character lead this time, 17-year-old, and it's actually based off a screenplay that I wrote years ago and did well in competitions. And intermediate students were having it read to them by their teachers, and they were really loving it. And I thought, when it came down to me thinking of what I was going to write for my sophomore novel, that one kind of stands out because it's a bigger world building, and just more of a challenge for me to try to create this dystopian world and figure out what I'm trying to say and what I want to say as an author. And I actually received 2 grants from the Ontario Arts Council for writing it. So it's the first time I've been paid up front with a grant of people who believe in me for a book. So it's very exciting.
Do you have an author that inspired you?
Interesting. Well, when I was a kid, I absolutely loved Judy Blume, and I read her books like crazy and just devoured all of them. And I loved the ease of reading her books, and I just found her sense of humor really entertaining. And then as I became an adult, I started to read a lot of screenplays for pleasure. So it became some of my favorite films in the written form that I was reading. My favorite book, I think, is Flowers for Algernon. The one about like a scientific experiment being done on a human to change his mental capacity and his level of understanding. And it really was a beautiful book. So as far as favorite authors, not really. It's more different experiences that I tend to love. I look up to a lot of authors, like Eric Walters has been phenomenally supportive through this. And I just can't believe it, because I just took my shot in talking to him one day and he's been so wonderful. I used to love John Irving a lot and read a lot of his books when my babies were young. So I don't know, I'm just kind of all over the place. But for screenwriting, when I like to read screenplays, I love reading Aaron Sorkin's stuff because it's pretty in depth and rich and wonderful. So
Awesome. And I guess for my last question is, how did it feel the first time you walked into a store and you like picked up your book for the first time?
it was incredible. It was actually like when I first found out my book was being published, I didn't even know that it was going to be on shelves. I thought it was just going to be online, and I was already extremely excited about that. And then the one day I went in to your store at Kohl's and at Indigo at this Penn Center, and it was sold out. And I was like, oh no, that's it was very exciting. But I went with my daughter and we wanted to take a picture. We were all ready. And I was like, okay, on one hand, it sucks that I didn't catch it. On the other hand, I'm so excited it's sold out. So then I went to the chapters at Fairview and they had a couple. And I, of course, did took the picture and asked them if I could sign a few. And it was really surreal. I through my own mental health journey, I have a hard time sometimes with the good stuff from my own past, sometimes easier to deal with the bad stuff. So this has been a whole journey for me, and just trying to take it all in and give myself permission to celebrate, because I have worked hard. So that's kind of where I'm at. But it was almost surreal. I don't even know what the feeling was. It was just like, oh my goodness, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got chills. No, like it's amazing and it's doing so well. And I'm personally really excited to read it. I know a few people in my store are as well. And we've had people come in asking for it too. So it's like, it's really cool. And it's like, yeah, this person's local.
I want people here to know that I'm local, because my favorite thing is when I take the spotlight off of me and kind of share it with people and pay it forward, say, maybe you had a difficult childhood, or maybe you feel like you're kind of in this small town and it's not possible. I mean, I had agents in Los Angeles, and I was at a book signing in Toronto the other day, and my book is actually happening. So if anything, awesome. I want to show people from around here and my students that it is possible. It takes a crap load of work, and it takes a lot of a whole bunch of things, but it's possible, and it's really great.
So that was my questions for the video. Thank you so much. It was great talking with you.